All right, good day. It's, yep, sometime in the week. Grateful to have you all with us. Thanks for joining. Still lots going on and still lots more to come. So if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and definitely comment. There's some stuff in this one that I think you need some feedback on. So stick around. There's lots to go. I'm going to crack right into it because I only have a short amount of time and I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be. So here we go. Did the wheel bearings last episode, got that winch working, which I'm glad. I didn't have to throw away a perfectly good 8,000 pound winch. I've had a chance to drive this for a few days. I've been trying to get it to pass emissions and I can't get all the codes to reset I can't get the drive. I can get the drive cycles, but it's just, I keep getting a check engine for some various things. So I want to talk about that, but first let's go over what I know is wrong with this thing. One is the air conditioning compressor. It doesn't kick on when you turn the dial in the dash. Could be any number of things. Power, could be the switch itself, could be the compressor's failed, could be the high pressure switch, low pressure switch, could be any number of things. I know there's no pressure in the system. I do have a air conditioning recharge kit that has the pressure gauge on it. And I even tried to put some in to see if I could get above the low pressure switch. And I put about 30 pounds in it, which is lots because that compressor is obviously going to bump it up quite a bit. But it wouldn't kick on. So I haven't checked it recently to see if it's all drained out. I assume it has, but that's a problem for another day. Still a little cool, but it's going to start warming up fast. So I maybe got a couple weeks before I have to fix that. And then in the cab, all kinds of stuff are wrong. I figured out those switches. So there's like a Mad Max thing going on. I ran into it because I tried to start the Jeep one day and I got nothing. And then I realized they wired this wire that they got stuffed in here goes to a relay and to a fuse that came back, and it actually ties into the starter. So it's basically a dead man switch. And then the other one was for the light bar, which I deleted. So anyway, that's all solved. I got rid of that switch, did a bunch of stuff under the dash, got all that cleaned up. And then the other big one is this. So I know I'm going to rip the scab. So you'll notice that this PCM is shiny and new, and I alluded to it on the last video. The PCM was bad. And it's not a fault of this. It's just the nature of the beast. But these tuners, this one actually did nothing to tune the engine. The only thing that this thing had in it was axle ratio to tire size. You could adjust it in here. Now, I'm not versed on this, so this is where I need the kind of feedback, because for an automatic transmission, I would assume that would obviously help because it would adjust your shift points based on the gear ratio and the tire size. But this is a manual transmission, so my shift points change with me and whether I got wind at my back or not and when I shift. So I don't fully understand why this was in the rig, and it was actually programmed. I put it back to stock and I still had all kinds of problems. So that's that. If you want it, shoot me a note. They're like $300, I think, but I'll gladly give it away, or it's going in the dumpster. So that's that. Blending doors. So I'm having all kinds of problems with those. The floor in the defrost work, but air is constantly coming out of the vent. That doesn't work for whatever reason. And no heat comes in. It was cool the last couple of mornings when I was driving into work and couldn't get any heat in the cab. It just blows cool air. So I ordered a new blending door, or a blending actuator. I think that door stuck closed. So sorry, my neighbor just drove by. Super nice guy. And I'm going to see if that's what the issue is. I haven't taken anything apart yet in there. I figure I might as well just order new parts because I need spares anyway. So that's in there. I've got most of it gutted because I've got all the stereo components that we're going to put in over the next couple of days. But tonight, what I want to talk about, after all of that preamble that I said I wasn't going to do, the PCM. So I had the 4 heater circuits on all 4 O2 sensors were failed, which is odd. You know, for one to fail, okay. I changed all 4, changed 3 of the O2 sensors, and they were stock. This thing's got 132,000 miles on it, give or take, and they were never changed. So I put 3 new ones in because the 4th one was jammed. I couldn't get it out. And I thought, okay, I'll try that. I still had all 4 heater circuits, blah, blah, blah. So I researched it for about a half hour or so one night. And the consensus was it's likely the PCM. It could be a grounding wire issue. It could be, you know, that type of stuff. But I did go through the harness. You can see I was peeling wires. And I couldn't find anything in the harness that was wrong. Frayed wires, a bad ground, any of that sort of stuff. It all looks good. So in researching it and digging through the TJ forums, I found a lot of people were having the same issue, specifically with the 2005, 2006 TJs. This one's an 05. I don't know if I ever told you that. It's an 05. And the problem is the PCMs have known bugs. O2 sensors is one of the symptoms. Another one is random stalling. The gauges might go to 0 and come back. You know, those kind of little things. And then if it had an automatic transmission, then it just snowballs from there, because I know a lot of the automatic transmissions have an issue in these 2 model years. So I reached out to a guy named Mark from Wrangler Fix. Super great guy. He was mentioned all over the place. Solid reputation. So I figured I'd give him a call, and within 3 minutes of telling him what I was dealing with, he's like, "Yep." Said, "I've seen this lots. You need a PCM." We've got, they basically reverse engineered it and fixed a bunch of stuff. And within 2 days, I had it shipped to my house, ready to go. Basically 3 screws, popped it out, put the new one in. Obviously disconnected the battery first. Popped it in, plugged everything in, hooked up the battery. I have a chipped key. As soon as I put it in, turn it on, the key automatically recognized, fired right up. Check engine light, gone. And then that was that. So I did take it for a drive, and I'm still struggling with O2 sensors. Not the heater though, that's all reset. So now I get a lean condition in bank 2, sensor 2, which is the back half of the engine, obviously. And that's probably because I couldn't change that bank 1 sensor. It's stuck. And then the other one is the delay, P0135, I think is the code. And that tells you that the sensors aren't responding in the required time. It's like, I don't know, 100 millionth of a second. If it's not in that range, it trips it. So I was getting that pending code, and then it would eventually hit confirmed. So I've been fighting that. And that could be any number of things. Exhaust leak, bad sensor. I do have NTKs in there. So that, I don't think that's the issue. Could be, again, wiring, could be a bunch of stuff. So that's what I have been fighting. Now, good news. I managed to get that sensor out. So let's go over there. When I got home today, because I've been driving this to work, trying to figure this out, and the engine was smoking hot. So I did the right thing and crawled under there with some PB Blaster and sprayed specifically the sensor to snap cool it. Ran the engine for a couple more minutes to heat it back up, and then did it again. And then I got under there with this bad boy. Adjustable pipe wrench, pretty handy. I have some smaller versions of this, and because the sockets down here in the States, they're 7/8, the O2 sensor sockets that you buy, but these ones are actually a 22 millimeter. So the 7/8 was sloppy and it would start to strip. So before I really wrecked it, I went and got this. Well, this doesn't have enough leverage. So I went back to the hardware store and got a piece of 2-inch PVC. and this fits right around the wrench handle. Gave me the leverage that I need and got it out. So it's out currently. I've got the new one right here, the 23160. This is for bank 2 sensor 1. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in and then get this thing ready. Tony and I are going to take it for a road trip tonight and see if I can get those codes to clear. But one thing I wanted to mention on these O2 sensors, when you put these in, and I'm not too sure if you agree or disagree, this is another comment thing. I actually use copper coat around the threads. It's basically an anti-seize. So, and it works well. You know, they're not going to get bound up in there. So if you use anti-seize, great. If not, that's okay too. I just find they're easier to get out when you use that. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to pop this O2 sensor in now, and then yeah, I'll catch up with you in a minute. And then I want to talk more about the fuses and the relays and stuff and the difference between the 05 and the 04 over there. Because I think there's a lot of confusion around it, and I really struggled. So give me a minute and I'll be right back with you. Okay, moving around quite a bit because I'm anxious. I talked about the readiness and the sensor's not reacting. It could be a whole bunch of things. Now, I did get that new sensor in, so I'm hoping that solves it. The other thing I want to check for is exhaust leaks. Because like I said, I did have that lean condition. And that's likely a root cause. So what I've done is hooked up my vacuum to the exhaust tailpipe on the blow setting. It's working pretty hard. And then I got a thing of soapy water here. So the intent is to obviously spray the exhaust and see if I can find any leaks. So I'm going to do that now, just kind of around where I've been working. Okay, so down on the other side, you can see up there all those bubbles. So I have the vacuum cleaner blowing, and I've got this flange is obviously leaking, so that could definitely cause the lean condition. And it looks like there's bubbles around the first flange there too. So two solid indicators that there's issues going on. So yeah, those two things. So I'm gonna go get a socket and see if I can tighten these up. Okay, so obviously some exhaust leaks. I got those tightened up. I'm probably gonna have to do a bit better job at that, but I broke my little water spray bottle. So anyway, I'm still chasing the exhaust air engine codes. But real quick, I alluded on the last video, so I just wanted to talk about this super fast, and that was the technical services bulletin that came out for the 2005, 2006 model years. And there's a reason for that service bulletin. And what it has to do with is, if you look at the main PDC, the power distribution center, there's a ASD relay that's here. And that is actually where the O2 sensors get their power from. And apparently there was some delay in that ASD, and it's not allowing the O2 sensors to power up fast enough for the PCM or whatever the issue is. So they released this, and I'll put a link in the description if you're really curious about finding it. It's a lifetime warranty on the Jeeps. So you're supposed to be able to take it into a dealer and they'll do it for you. I didn't have that luck. I called one Dodge dealer and they basically laughed. And so I was on my own devices, which is fine. What you end up doing in a nutshell is you cut a couple wires, splice them in, and you're basically going to now take the power from the fuel pump relay. So the minute you turn the key and the power kicks on for the fuel pump, it'll power up the devices for the O2 sensors. So it's just a quick little splice. It's basically you cut one, splice it together, cut another. Not a big deal. The bulletin is really detailed. So, and the reason why that's such a disadvantage is on the 04s and below, the fuel pumps actually had, the O2 sensors actually have their own fuse and their own relay. So you don't have to worry about monkeying around with any wiring. I don't know why they deviated from that into the newer. Probably the same reason why they deviated on the fuel rails, getting rid of the Schrader valves. On the half of the 03s and the 04s, 05s, 06s, there's no Schrader valve here anymore. That's a whole nother debacle. So, because you can't check your fuel pressure unless you do some splicing, which nobody really wants to do. So anyway, that was it for that. I know a couple of you guys were asking about that technical services bulletin. So that's it in a nutshell. It just involves some wire changes in the fuse panel underneath the hood. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. You know, I'm still fighting lots, but I'm hoping to win this battle here soon. I got a few things on the go over here. I'm not going to show you right now because that'll be on the next video, but I think that's going to do it for today. All right. Thanks very much. All the new subscribers. Hey, welcome. See you on the next one.